Like cooking, everything has a recipe.
A set of instructions to follow in order to gain a certain result.
Music is no different.
Be it ingredients for a dish, a set list for an amazing show,
Or a release strategy for a successful launch.
these are all recipes.
Hi, we're your hosts, Sean.
And I'm Brandon.
Come and join us in our kitchen as we go through the Music Makers Cookbook.
Let's get cooking.
All right, hello and welcome to the Music Makers Cookbook, the podcast where we help independent artists create recipes for success in the music industry. Intro said it, but I'm Sean.
I'm Brandon.
And today we are going to be talking about some tools in the kitchen that we use, mainly software, to help more of the business side of music run our personal businesses, and artists can use for their band pages, websites, whatever they're doing, like the business of their band. So before we jump into that, though, that's our main dish. Let's have a little bit of an appetizer. Just a small talk, quick banner before the episode begins where we can slowly get into it. So last episode, I had this cherry coffee that Brandon gave
Michigan
me.
cherry, yep.
Yeah. It started growing on me, but now I'm having this Dunkin' one.
It's like the Dunkin' is way better. I love Dunkin' coffee, man.
It is.
There's something about it that's just, I feel like Starbucks burns their beans.
I've never been to an actual Dunkin'.
Really?
Really?
There's one like right down the street, so we're going to go there sometime.
Are we?
Yep.
Even though there's like that local coffee shop right down the road too that your buddy works at?
Yep. Sorry, Chris.
No tips for you. We're going to Dunkin'.
Did you know that a medium coffee at Coffee Cream, the shop you were talking about?
Yeah.
Their medium coffee comes out to $2.22. Studio 222.
Whoa.
It's like it was meant to be.
It's almost like it was. Is it so it's with the tax or is that before tax?
Fuck.
His face got so serious so quick.
I think that is actually after tax.
After tax?
Yeah, I think it is after tax.
Well, if it comes out to that amount, then that's got to be after tax.
Yeah.
Which, yay, give government money.
Yay. Now
Yay.
we've shouted out the government twice in 2 episodes.
Indeed. Well, the government's all around us. Big Brother's watching all the time. But anyway,
Oh my God.
It kind of makes sense. We could transition because part of the tools that we're going to talk about is, like some accounting tools or budgeting tools or whatnot. So you can make sure that you are telling the government that you've made a certain amount.
That's why we're sponsored by VPNs. No, I'm just kidding. Totally joking.
I thought you were going to say like, that's why we're sponsored by the IRS.
Oh God. Is that a good sponsorship?
No,
I don't think it is.
It's not.
I just think the less you interact.
This is a true fact.
Yeah.
But oh yeah.
Love them though.
What?
I love. Yeah.
Really?
We're on good terms.
As of now.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Yep.
But all right, that's enough banter. That was a pretty quick appetizer. And this is going to be a pretty small main dish too. Not quite fast food, but a casual sit down.
For sure.
Like an Applebee's or
This is like a grab and go kind of thing.
go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Small, maybe like a small local diner. You can just go in and sit down a little bit, just
good,
casual, grab what you want.
Good burger from a local diner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those classic American sloppies.
That sounds really bad. Classic American sloppies. We're opening the episode with that. Anyways, let's jump into the main course. Let's dive into this American sloppy and talk about the tools that we use for success. So I'm going to start off with something, a tool that I use all the time. In fact, I'm starting off with it because I've got a resource for you guys in the show notes. They're able to download some assets too. And that is the tool Canva.
Canva is elite.
Ooh, so good. It's taken over pretty much anything that needs graphic design. Local governments are using it, bands are using it, businesses are using it, big, small. And it's because it's got so many just good assets for it, so many good templates. It's easy to get a hold of. You can do it for free. You can't do all their professional assets, but even if you pay for it, it's not that expensive.
It's not terrible.
And it just helps.
It pales in comparison to Adobe.
Oh my God.
It's not even close.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do with Adobe. But
a
lot more you can do. But Canva does have some really cool features that make it nice and easy. Like if you do pay for the Pro, they have a background remove feature. So if you just have you in a photo, you can remove the background and then you can just put you on promotional things on like Instagram. You can post it like for any promotional material for like posters or on your album if you just want to put you behind a different background or blur out the background and phase it. Like if you go to our episode about core values and how you can help define them, episode 2, I have a PDF in there that helps you identify your core values, and I created it in Canva, and I use that feature where the second page is a picture of me and the background's removed of my studio, so it's just me sitting in the chair and the text wraps around it. So it's got a lot of really cool features, but even just the base unit where you don't pay anything for can do a lot. It's so useful to have good graphic design.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to be approachable and real to, you know, your fans who want to fully understand what you've got going on, but having that layer of professionality, of professionalism. That's the actual word, professionality.
Sounded good to me.
Yeah. If you say it with confidence, anything's a word.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, so it's a really good tool to get high quality social media content out quick.
Yeah.
And especially if you leverage templates, which is what I'm giving you. I've got an ever-growing list of templates that I've made in Canva that uses only free assets. So if you want to go in the show notes, you can download it, get links to different templates that I've created for single release, album anniversaries, milestones, like 100 fans, 100 monthly listeners, 1,000 monthly listeners, 100 followers on YouTube. We have like show posters, anything that you can think of, I'm going to be making templates for. And if there's anything I don't have templates for currently, please email me and I'll be making templates for it. I'm also making a master list of color schemes. So if you're a certain genre and you don't have the set colors, your brand should have set colors so that every time someone, at least for album per project, they should be consistent so people know that they fit together. I'm going to have recommendations of if you're this kind of genre, use these primary colors, these secondary colors. They'll look good together. You can just copy and paste the codes and change the colors of these templates I'm giving you and really easily make months worth of promo, of posts, so that you don't have to spend time worrying about it. And they're pretty basic, but pretty versatile. So you can put your own pictures in, make it as easy as possible. But Canva is just a great tool. That's me, how I use it, how I'm rambling on about it. Do you have anything you want to add about it?
I would just say that Canva is it's just great for, like you said, getting content out very quickly, opposed to something like a Photoshop or I think Adobe has their own version of Canva. It's called Spark or something like that. These just pale honestly in comparison to, because Canva just makes it so easy. Like Sean was saying, they have great templates, they have great assets for you. It's really hard to kind of mess anything up in Canva. It's kind of just like,
I've seen it.
I have too. I've done it before too. But like, I feel like there's better guides though, where it's just like, you just kind of just plug and play and then you export and you're done.
That's exactly why I'm making these templates.
Yeah. It's
plug and play.
Exactly. It's great. Definitely don't sleep on the subscription either. I don't subscribe personally, but I will probably subscribe at a certain point when I start making a bit more content, because I have come across assets I do want to use and things of that nature. I have bought assets myself before just to use them in other content pieces.
Well, here's another thing that I still need to get you on it. You can pay a little bit more a month and create a business suite account. So up to 5 people can share an account and you can make your own branding templates in it and your own individual account within this group of 5. So I have a group of other engineers, and my girlfriend who's a graphic designer, website designer, she's in it too. She uses Canva occasionally, and we still have an open slot. So I'll give you I'll let you in so you can just use our account.
That'd be awesome.
And it gives you all the promo things, but that makes Canva even cheaper. So even if like it's just you're just a solo project, if you can find 4 other artists that need to make content, which we all do. We live in a social media age, online digital age. You need to make content. You can split that costs with other engineers, make your own logo suites. It saves your templates to your profile within that group. And it takes from $10 a month, I think it's like $15 a month, but you split it 5 ways. And it's
cheap.
$3 a month.
Cheap.
For pro assets, for unlimited templates, basically unlimited templates, you can save a bunch of projects. And it's just a really cost-efficient way to have a lot of high-quality content that you can put your own pictures, customize, and make them your own still. And then you can, if you have an account with multiple people, you can share ideas with them and see what they're doing and teach tips and tricks. So it's good to have more people involved as possible.
Definitely.
So we'll get you involved in that.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And then I highly recommend you do that with other artists in your scene that are growing with you, so that you can, build that together and save some money.
Yeah. Oh, I also want to say too, I don't know if we clarified this before, but these are not this is not a sponsored video, and we're not endorsed by any of these apps. These are apps that we just like to use personally.
Yeah.
If we have any links down below, we'll let you know if they are affiliate links if you look in the show notes. So, but I just wanted to clarify that before moving forward.
Yeah, it'll say affiliate before we give you the link in the show notes. As of this recording, none of them are affiliate links.
None of them are affiliate links.
If we're smart, we will probably make some affiliates because as I talked, this whole was all about making money and being successful and recipes for success. And affiliate marketing is a big business.
It is.
So if we are practicing what we preach, a couple will probably become affiliate links over time.
Or maybe we just won't take our advice. I don't know. I'm not sure. No, but we'll definitely let you know for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Forward. Yep.
For sure. So that's, I just wanted to come out swinging. That's just a huge asset that I use all the time. I have a couple single releases that I've done with my music. I've used Canva for the album art. I know a bunch of artists that use Canva for album art. It's just a good way to make tons of really awesome things to post.
Yeah,
bunch
quickly.
Of digital products.
Yep.
Yep.
And very fast. Very fast, very efficiently.
Yep.
Yep.
They even have features to like design custom t-shirt design or hat designs, or you can design your merch through that, and then you can save it as a PNG. It has no background, upload it to like InkSpot or any sort of t-shirt producer, upload it to Redbubble, so that they can build this merch per order, so you don't have to like buy 100 shirts to sell, but you can create really easy merch designs to sell and put on your website and put out there.
Speaking of merch designs, that's a good point because you can prepare everything for printing. You can also change the color profiles too. So you can switch it from RGB to CMYK since you're going to want to do that anyways for print stuff. And I think they just came out with that a few months ago actually, where you can actually change the color profile. So that is even more helpful. And doing it in Adobe is ridiculously cumbersome. Like, I'm not here to shit on Adobe, man, because I love Adobe. And I use
they're
Adobe.
really great tools, but they're expensive.
Great. They're expensive, but you do get what you pay for if you're using them.
And you put and you have the ability to put the time into
exactly. Yes, because they are hefty programs. But yeah, it's just so much harder to do it in Adobe. I mean, kind of, but I think there's 2 buttons you press for CMYK and it changes your entire color profile and you send it off to printing and you're good.
That's another positive of Canva is that it is an online service, so it's constantly updating.
Yep.
So there are what they have today, they will hopefully expand upon tomorrow. They even have basic video editing. So if you want to do, quick videos, be it basic music videos or promo videos, you can put them into Canva. They got some filters, transitions, whatnot. It's not the easiest video editor, but it gets the job done, and it's a good place to start because they have a bunch of video assets that you can use to kind of spice up your videos and make them more unique.
Definitely. And I think something cool that Canva also does, they're trying to incorporate more social media into it, so you can upload directly to your social media sites. I don't know if you've ever tried that.
I've not tested that yet.
Yeah, and the reason why we haven't tried that is because of the next tools that we're actually going to suggest, and that's between Hero Post, Hootsuite, Buffer, any of those kinds of posts that will help you schedule your social media posts from Canva.
Damn, that was smooth.
Yeah, right? I was totally thinking about that for like 5 minutes straight.
Way better than the last episode. You should need to listen to the last episode because it was really funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, what do these tools do, Brandon?
So basically what you do is you have a piece of content that you have. Let's say you export something from Canva and you want to post it on all of your social media. Sure, you could go to each website, upload them individually, type out everything individually. Wow, that sounds like a lot of work and I'm already tired of talking about it. Or you can upload it to one place, one platform. So let's say we use Hootsuite. I don't recommend Hootsuite because it's expensive unless you're going to be doing a lot of social media and it's worth it to you. We'll recommend these 2 other guys for now, which is called Hero Post and Buffer. Anyways,
I use Hero Post. You have experience with Buffer.
Yeah, I have experience with Buffer. I digress. They're way cheaper, but you upload your piece of content to this one site and it says, okay, cool. I'm going to post it to Twitter. I'm going to post it to Facebook, Instagram Reels, TikTok, wherever.
LinkedIn, Tumblr.
Yeah, if you want to go the
Reddit.
professional route, LinkedIn, by all means, man, but like it'll give you that one spot to upload on, and then you say, yeah, I want to publish it at this time, this day, and then you close your laptop and you go outside and sip a margarita.
Margaritaville. But no, as you were saying earlier, you can either just every day go on your phone, post, make sure if you really get into it, like, it has to be this time, this sort of day. I recommend you don't do that. That's a bad way to go about social media. That's a fast way to burn out.
It's true.
But, that's what a lot of people say to do. You have to put this time of this day, super consistent, make something fresh every day. Being prolific prolific
and intentional.
Being prolific and intentional isn't a bad thing. You do want to post a lot of stuff, but if you can bad shit, just spend, hey, I got this afternoon, I'm just gonna make as much content as I can, upload it to Hero Post or Hootsuite or and set it out throughout the whole next week or next 2 weeks. they don't got to worry about social media again.
Yep.
You're free from social media.
Yep.
If you want to blog onto social media, you can just respond to some people who leave messages, or if someone DMs you like, oh, I love this post. I'm looking forward to going to the concert, or hey, I love your music. I'd like to feature you on a song or whatnot. Like then you can just spend your time actually connecting with people on social media, which is being social on social media.
Yeah.
Who fucking does that?
Whoa.
But you can actually be social and be with the people who are engaging in what you put out. And it makes it so much easier. You don't got to worry about, I got to wake up at 6 a.m. because 6 a.m. is the best time to post things on Tuesday. No, just schedule it, get it out there. And they have a bunch of other tools than just posting to it. I don't know about the other two, because I personally use Hero Post. I got it a while ago. When I bought it, it was like $30 for a lifetime membership of it. I know last year it was up to like $100 for a lifetime thing. I don't know what it is today, but it's still cheaper than Hootsuite. But they also have tools where you can put in my content's about this, and it'll tell you what hashtags you should use, what the rankings are, how visible they could be. Like, oh, this is a really popular hashtag, but it's overused, so maybe try this one. You're more likely to be discovered if somebody searches it. And then from there, you can like niche into like, oh, these certain aspects of it, so you can focus more on niche hashtags. So the people who do look at those hashtags actually really care about what you're doing. It's almost better to go for the niche ones that are super specific to what you do than it is to go with the broad ones. And this will help you see what kind of hashtags are out there that you can be using to tag your stuff to get it in front of other people and, have the algorithms hopefully work in your favor.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything like that on Buffer personally, but that is a very, very helpful tool for sure. That way, that's kind of batched for you anyway. So we keep saying batched. Batched basically means is doing one task for many things at once. Would you say, or one task? How would you describe that? I'm like messing this up.
I would phrase it as
syncing multiple tasks into one action.
Yeah.
And that's just making sure that you don't, like Sean said, you don't have to wake up at a specific time to post anything, and you can just remain engaging with your fans or I mean, if you don't want to use social media, it can keep you off of social media. That all depends on what your goals align with. Go check out the episode about goals. That is extremely helpful because like then you won't have to sit there and try to think, well, should I put hashtag music or should I put hashtag music rocks, hashtag music's awesome? Like, and it'll tell you right there.
New music, hashtag my music,
hashtag new music Friday. Like, okay, well, let's just think about this. I mean, how many people are uploading music every day, Sean?
Oh, like the numbers vary. The statistics say between 40,000 to 65,000.
Yeah,
songs,
and that's just what Spotify.
That's just Spotify.
And I mean, imagine how many people are using the hashtag New Music Friday, New Music whatever. So it's very helpful to have those tools so you can actually pinpoint your audience and take control of your means of discovery.
Yeah, it's like maybe like a new funk music Friday or
funky fresh Friday,
folk rock Friday. Like things like that are more niche into the people that really want to listen to your music. So that's what we kind of used as social media management tools to easily put things together and post them out in multiple places. So you can make things in Canva, upload them to Hero Post, and post it out there throughout your whole next week, your whole month, and then not have to deal with that side of it for at least a couple of weeks until you batch it again and make a whole new things again. This next thing I'm going to let you handle.
Yeah, this next thing is more business oriented to you and mainly your finances, and that is accounting software. I personally use Wave Accounting. I have used QuickBooks accounting software, and to be more specific, QuickBooks Self-Employed. But you are going to need a way to track your expenses and track your profit over the term of your artistry. Because you are a business, and it is really important to see the numbers, and it's really important to turn those numbers in at the end of the year as well for tax purposes. Go hire a CPA. This isn't official tax advice or financial advice, but I do really like both of these apps. I prefer Wave Accounting because I like the user interface. It's a little bit better. I can see my numbers a lot quicker, and it's a lot easier to input stuff too. The cool thing about QuickBooks Self-Employed is that it actually has an estimated tax calculator that builds into what you've already put in. I'm not sure how entirely accurate it is, and
Doesn't it tie to TurboTax or something?
It can. So you can actually do your taxes through there. I always recommend hiring a CPA. There are CPAs out there for a reason. You should take advantage of their services because they will save your ass. And honestly, they're like the frontline heroes too. You know, I'd put them up there, man.
The second you make $1, the government is going to want it.
Yep.
So it's important to keep track of how much you're making.
Absolutely. And at the very least with these apps that I'm suggesting right now, it's just a good way to help keep track of your expenses and your profit, So that's personally why I like it a lot, but I do use it like as a means of accounting though. So that's why it's important to me.
But also like don't feel like you absolutely have to, especially if you're just, hey, I'm just starting off. I'm playing like one show a month. I don't have all this going on. I can't really, budget a software to handle all these things for me. I'm in the process of getting a better way of doing it. But for the past 5-6 years, I've just used Google Sheets.
Yeah.
And it works. It's more time, more effort. I've made my own template so that I can, easily organize things, and then I can just hand it off to the CPA, and it has links like these are the receipts, yada yada. It takes a lot more effort to do it that way.
Sure.
But it's a free way to at least do something to account. Keep track of what you're making, where it's going. And if you're a band that has multiple people, keep track of where it's being split, how much you're spending on advertising, keep track of the costs, like the cost of the equipment, the cost of gas. If you bought a new van, these are things you can approach your CPA and be like, hey, can we write any of these things off? Because you are a business at that point. Are any of these business expenses that we can use to not pay too much at the end of the year, but you need to know the numbers. You can't say like, oh yeah, we probably drove 1,000 miles this year, probably bought. I think we spent $10,000 on that van. Was it 10,000? No, I think it was more like 8. Well, let's just say 9. You can't do that.
You can't do that. You can't do that. Like it's really tough. Because I've fallen guilty of that before, way in the past, where it's like, oh, I think I did this, but you have to be very concrete on your numbers and go through statements and use one of these apps, either using a spreadsheet software or using Wave accounting. Like I said, I keep going back to Wave because it is free. So there's really no reason to at least try it. Sure, where do you make your money? Where do they make their money? I'm not entirely sure. I think it's just a little bit more expensive when you send out invoices and whatnot. Like to pay them, right? But at the end of the day, if you're not sending out invoices, it's really just a free accounting software for you. So why not just give it a shot?
I need to do that. I remember you mentioning Wave a couple weeks ago, but I haven't given it a shot yet. So
yeah,
I'm going to be trying Wave coming up.
Yeah, dude.
So man, I'm learning stuff. This is why I like this. I learned so much from you, Brandon.
Yeah, dude. I learned a lot from you too, man. This is really why I'm doing it. So.
I fucked up.
Why?
I should have said your name wrong. It would have been funny. Like, I'm learning so much from you, Brendan.
I got called Brad 2 weeks ago.
Did you?
I did.
Oh, because I've learned so much from you, but I haven't learned your name yet. You got called Brad?
I've learned. Yeah. I think it was an accident.
Yeah.
Because like he called me Brandon on like the actual chat.
But did he call you Brad?
He said Brad in text.
Gotcha.
I was like,
maybe autocorrected. Maybe got a.
Or maybe it's because he saw my name in Zoom.
Your name on Zoom, Brad?
Brandon.
Oh,
so when he was looking at the screen.
Oh, so he was like, oh crap. This is Brandon.
Oh, I wonder.
Oh, man. I wonder if that's a good software that you can use to talk with other people and like function things together to collaborate. And
Zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, believe it or not, that's next on the list. Going back to collaboration and things like that, Zoom is probably the best. I went to school during COVID time at the end there, and we had this audio production class that ran everywhere. Yeah, we had it that run off of entirely Zoom, and that he was just routing Ableton's audio to Zoom, and we could all hear it together and all collaborate. Zoom is awesome. I'm not sure how expensive it is to buy a premium membership, but it does kick you off after 40 minutes for free, but then you'll just have to restart a meeting and then invite them again. So if you find that's not efficient enough for you, then feel free to buy. I think it's probably like $15 a month. That's purely a guess, so this might not be accurate right now. But this Zoom tied in with some sort of software like Audio Movers or Sonobus. Sonobus is free and it's pretty new. Audio Movers is a form of collaboration where you can stream full quality audio from a digital audio workstation such as Pro Tools, such as Ableton, such as Logic, whatever you use, and you're able to open it on your end or that person is able to open it on their end of the browser and listen to it in full quality in real time. And if you pair this up correctly with Zoom or something like TeamViewer or something like that, where you can see the person's screen, you can actually be a part of that session together and actually collaborate in real time, which is really, really cool. I even think there is something with Audio Movers. There's some sort of software there. I say Audio Movers as a whole, they have 3 different products, but I think there is a product where that you can actually transmit MIDI notes from one person to another. I would have to double check on that, but I think I briefly saw that, which is a next level collaboration tool.
I gotta look more into that too.
Yeah, which is really cool. So that's how I've been running all my virtual sessions right now. Honestly, it's been really easy to work with. It's been great. So and you can stay productive.
We'll probably be doing similar episodes to this like yearly
for sure
to update, because software is constantly changing and we're learning more about it. If there's any softwares that you use that really help you with your music creation, your financing, anything that to do with your music business, let us know. Please reach out to us. Our email's in the show notes, and we can talk about it in a future episode and dive into it ourselves. But moving on from things like Zoom, you can also use like Google Meet.
Yep.
I've used that occasionally. That's a kind of a free version of Zoom. So if you don't want to pay monthly for Zoom, you can do something like Google Meet.
Yep.
Not as smooth, not as integrated software wise, but Google Meet, it gets the job done.
Yep.
In addition to that, we'd be hard pressed to talk about software that's changing the way the world works, not just business, the way the world works, if we didn't say AI and ChatGPT. Now, in terms of AI as a general concept, we're going to go into a deep dive more into that topic as we know more about the topic.
Right.
Everything's evolving. We're learning a lot about it. So today's not the day where we dive super deep into it, but because there's a whole things like AI art, AI, music making, and that kind of gets a little bit interesting legally and all that sort of deal.
Sure.
We don't know where that's going to go in the future, but right now I can say ChatGPT is a really good, useful tool. It can help you write like any sort of copy for your website, for your electronic press kit, EPK, for any site of, for like social media posts. If you say, hey, I'm going to be making posts about this for the next week because you made it all on Canva, can you write a topic about it or recommend some hashtags or whatnot? It can throw out some good ideas, at least a starting line. You can tweak it later on, make it more your voice.
Right.
Or you can give it your, write this friendly or write this in the tone of my voice or whatever. If you feed it enough, it can do a decent job. You can just tweak it from there. But it's a great way to, come up with copy that helps put across what you want to get across better. And the more information you can get, the better results you can have. So
absolutely.
If you give it your core values, what your messaging is about, what your music's about, what you're trying to showcase, it'll give better feedback that more so promotes those aspects of you as your music and your brand and everything about it. But ChatGPT is such a good tool. The thing is, though, don't use it as a search engine because it's not a search engine.
Right.
It will give you false information and it will claim ownership of things that it did not create. It's known to do this. So mainly use it as an idea starter, as a way to brainstorm. You can even use it as, hey, I'm releasing an album. It's going to be about this. These are the topics. This is what I want to get across. I want to contact these people. Make a social media calendar for me. And it'll give you ideas and ways you can promote your album or EP or whatever you have coming up, and it'll break it down. You can ask it to break it down weekly. It's huge tools to get you thinking, to get you started. You can even ask it questions like, hey, this is the kind of music I make. This is the kind of thing I want to talk about. What kind of wardrobe should I have?
Yeah.
It'll recommend, hey, if you're doing this kind of music, it's common for these kinds of colors or this kinds of dress, or make for folk, wear corduroy or whatever. So it's a good way to get brainstorming. I said, not a search engine. Don't go to it for facts, but it is a good way to kind of get things going, and it's getting more and more integrated inside in what we do on a daily basis.
Absolutely. So, love the copy editing or copywriting that it sometimes provides for me. It's fantastic. The hardest thing for me is just looking at a blank piece of paper and saying, well, what am I going to say? And it gives you a really good branching off point to where to start. Like Sean was saying, you have to take it and make it your own, because sometimes it spits out these things that just aren't true. Even if you tell it that these things aren't true, it sometimes will spit out that again. So you just got to be really careful with what you take in from it. So it's definitely doesn't come without its flaws, but it's getting better, scarily enough, every day, and it's here to stay. So you better just learn how to use it now.
Use it. It's a tool like anything else here.
Yep. And it's free to use unless you pay for the subscription. There's a subscriction.
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
You get priority and all these things.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
I'll newest update early or whatever.
Yeah. I'm patient.
But we use it ourselves.
Yeah.
We used it for I left a review on your website. And you'll try to go on my website. Yeah. We do a bunch of work together. It's hey, I should probably leave reviews. And you can say, hey, this is the studio. This is the person's name. This is the kind of service we provide. These are my feelings about it. Write a review in a casual tone, or write a review in the tone of Gordon Ramsay or whatever.
Yep. And then keep it under these amount of characters and then call it a day. Or this is specifically made for Google reviews or something like that. And when you prompt that to do that, it will spit out something that is at least in the ballpark of the realm that it should be in. And then you take that and you mold it yourself, or you go back and say, hey, I don't like this section, replace it with something else, and it'll go back and give you a different idea. It's great.
Here's another thing though. So once you get it, don't just copy and paste, make it your own voice, because at the end of the day, you are letting it represent you. You don't want to just use AI purely as itself. You want to bring your own thoughts into it. It's really just a way to start ideas. And another thing about it is be careful with how heavily you use it, because search engines are getting smarter as well about this is AI copy, this is AI created. So the more it says this is from AI, the less they're going to want to promote it, or it can be a negative thing. So like Google is starting to learn that, hey, these reviews are all AI generated. These could be fake reviews. This could be a fake account. So they could remove reviews, like shut down the page. So be careful with how heavily you use it. There are other tools you can use, like Quillbot, which is a paraphrasing tool. It tells you how it can actually analyze the text and say how similar to AI it is. So you can
analyzing AI.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But you can then paraphrase it, change it, retype it yourself, so it's more humanistic, more in your voice. Because as I said, at the end of the day, it represents you. You want to put your voice into it and be authentic. Because a big part about presenting yourself well online and actually getting people to invest in you is to be authentic with who you are, your message. These are all tools.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that brings us to the next topic, which kind of actually flows pretty well into this guy, because if you're going to be doing this artistry thing, this musician thing, as a career, then you will need a website. There's no way around it. You will need a website, either that hosts your EPK, electronic press kit, or just something that there is a common middle ground that people can meet at to see where you're going on tour, or where to listen to music, or where to find your music. That will all point back to your website.
Yep. Or create an email list, or
create an email
lead
list.
funnel, so that people can
extra content to download, or
exactly.
So
keep them engaged.
Yep. And so we recommend 3 different types of apps out there. 4 actually. 4. So you have to say the last one. You know where I'm going with this.
I believe so.
Yes. So I've used Squarespace. I didn't stick with it. Although I would go back to Squarespace over Wix. Wix was my home for a really long time.
Same. Wix is where I started.
Yep.
They're good places to start.
Yes.
If you need to get them out and you need to get them quick, they make it easy to get analytics, and they have a bunch of templates. The downside is they're templates for hotels, restaurants, everything out there. It's not really specific towards bands, but it's a great way to get started and a cheap way to get into it.
Absolutely. And then you kind of will. So these websites, they're great because like it'll kind of not teach you, but you'll have experience with building your own website. But the problem with these websites is that it can get out of hand very quick, and I've seen some very, very bad websites, very bad. The last one I recommend that I use right now is called WordPress. It's a little bit more deep of a thing where you have to kind of know how to navigate the WordPress landscape. It took me a really long time to figure it out, but you have more flexibility along the way, and there are more options out there for you to integrate into your website if you need that. For Squarespace and Wix, you are a little bit more limited on your options on what you include in there, so you are hindered a little bit by what they allow on their platform. You can do it through HTML and stuff, but it usually just doesn't look as good and doesn't format correctly half the time, so you'll be better off just sticking with what they have and seeing if you can make it work for yourself. So if you don't need anything super advanced, then I would recommend starting on those. And then we also have a last one that we didn't add, but that Sean is going to tell us about.
So the one that I personally use is a website builder called Easy Funnels. It's mainly built specifically for audio engineers and people on the service part of the audio industry. Those are all the templates are built for. It's created by Brian Hood of the Six Figure Creative and other projects. He's make some good products. I personally use it.
Yeah.
I personally use it because I'm a studio, and it has built-in integration like calendar integration, like funnels, obviously called Easy Funnels, A/B testing, a bunch of different things that you can really dive into. It's more similar to Wix and Squarespace because it is more
drag and
drop. It's more unit based versus WordPress. We can do anything you want, but it's also got some extra features to it. Now, if that's necessarily useful to bands,
right?
It's up to you. You can do some research, but for me, it's very useful if you're doing more in the industry than just if you're not just making your music. If you're actively like booking clients or you know, you have a merch store that you're building into. All these you can incorporate merch stores in through these widgets or add additions to it. So those are the 4 things, those 2 things that we use, and then 2 things that we recommend to get started. Now, some tools you really want to be conscious of when you do start making your website is like the big thing is, I think it's 70% or more of people interact with the internet through mobile, be it phones or tablets. The desktop necessarily isn't the fastest way or the quickest way or the most common way people access the internet nowadays, because we always have our phones in our pockets. So all of these that we've recommended have a mobile viewer, so you can see what your website looks like on the phone while you're building it on your desktop. So you can make sure that when someone pulls it up, it's not all jumbled or misplaced or things don't look quite right. You can see, okay, no, this translates well. It's easy to read on mobile, and you can verify that before you put it out into the world. But take time to make sure that it looks good on the phone.
You have to.
You have to.
It's very tedious and cumbersome sometimes. And with Squarespace and Wix more because I'm more familiar with that. The mobile viewer isn't always the easiest thing to work with, and it can really be messy really quick. So, and the functionality of it is actually very limited in what you can do with the mobile. With the mobile side, you can take stuff away, but that's pretty much all you can do. Unfortunately, you can't really even reorganize it all that much. It's what you see is what you get. So, but you have to take time to make sure that you are reaching your audience clearly and effectively over mobile, because I mean, we have many computers in our pockets and most people browse that way. I know I work with people that don't even have laptops these days. So you have to make sure that your mobile site looks good. So that is a really important thing to make sure you take care of. And luckily, every single app that we've mentioned, even WordPress is a little bit more interesting in how it kind of functions. I use a builder inside of WordPress called Elementor Pro, but that also includes a mobile viewer and a tablet viewer, and I can actually specify specific breakpoints in the app itself. So if somebody's screen resolution is a little bit different, then I can actually set it up to make sure that it works for that specific screen too. So you can actually really get really tedious into this and make sure that the experience of your website is the best that it can be for everybody, because that's what it's about. It's about experiencing your experience.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really cool application. I didn't know you could go that deep into it.
Yeah.
Easy Funnels doesn't have that level of control. In fact, the mobile editing on Easy Funnels is a little more limited, kind of like Wix is. But if you take some time, put some effort into it, you can make it so it easily translates. Because if you're at a show and someone comes in, they're like, oh, I like this band, I wonder when they're playing next, or I wonder what their music is like. Okay, I mean, the name's on the kick drum, let me look them up. And it pops up on mobile. It's like, what the hell?
And it's just like, it looks like fucking ketchup and mustard all over the table. You know?
And so there's, and the best of other technology, I highly recommend looking up on YouTube or Squarespace or any sort of things about how to design a website to be very efficient, like what's above the fold, below the fold, what your call to actions are. There's a lot that goes into it to make sure it's copywriting, ChatGPT.
Your image resolution, your
images. It affects how fast your website loads. There's so much that goes into it. Take some time, put some effort into it, and they have a lot of educational things specifically for all of these website builders. So if you're even having some struggle on the general concepts, you can say, okay, well, how to make the best website in Squarespace or in Wix or in WordPress. And there are tons of tutorials out there that will really help you make sure it's simple, clean, readable. It can branch out to whatever you want them to go to, get like a link tree embedded or whatever, so they can go listen to their music on any platform they want, email listing, merch, anything you want to do. You can. It's all important that it's there, so that, and also you have call to action so they know what to do next. But that's getting ahead of it. It's just, these are 4 things that we've used, had experience with, and I recommend. And it's important that you have something so that people who want to learn more about you have a place to go to learn more about you. Now, and another software that we say you need to have is some sort of file storage and sharing site. The 2 main ones are Google Drive and Dropbox. They have some positives, they have some negatives. Both have free versions that are kind of limited in the amount of stuff you can upload to it. But they have paid versions that are vastly expanded up to multiple terabytes of data for not too much of a extra cost. if you have that much stuff you need to share or archive, it can be well worth it to have those.
Definitely.
I personally use Drive. I have a free Dropbox account because I have some clients who only use Dropbox, but
I do the same.
Yeah, I personally have Drive. It's just a really good way to integrate all things together. We use Drive to organize all of our assets for this podcast, all the image assets, the video assets, the audio recordings, the show notes, the interviews, everything we have, the ideas from the upcoming topics. It's just a very succinct way to share assets between people and be on the same page and usually translate the stuff that you're doing from one person to the next. That was kind of a rambling sentence, but you get the idea. It's just, it's important to have a place that you can send people to and share what you're doing.
Yep. Especially in this day and age and when everything's done over the internet, everything's done on computers. I find Google Drive is more friendly with their prices, and I think you get a little bit more out of it. I've never been a big fan of Dropbox myself. They're very expensive, and you don't get a lot in return, in my opinion. So honestly, the integration into Gmail is really just indispensable for me. I don't want to be uploading to 3 different platforms at the end of a session. I just want to send it off through Google Drive and then be done with it. I have specific, so the Google Drive thing is interesting because like you can't open it on iPhone. You have to go through a lot of hoops to actually be able to download anything to your phone and to be able to access it on your phone. It is a little hitch that Google and Apple have not come together on with Google Drive, and it's really cumbersome, but there are tricks to get it done. It's just a little bit more tedious than you might think. So that is one hindrance that I find with Google Drive, and I actually have it written in my email when I send out files to how to actually access those files if you're using only your phone. So little caveat to that. Other than that, I find Google Drive has been great. I know they had security issues before in the past, but I think those have been long patched and hopefully will continue to be okay. And yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on that. I've used Google Drive for so long that I have almost no thoughts on it because it's so integrated into my life. I don't even think about it anymore, to be honest. It just is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the same. But it really is an indispensable tool because it's easy to share things with other people through send it to their emails, get other people to collaborate on the projects with you. If you work in Google Docs for songwriting or Google Sheets for any sort of accounting or planning out any sort of planning that you're doing with multiple people, you can then share it through Drive so they can access it, edit it themselves. You can have shared documents. If you're trying to get other people's feedback on like a demo you're creating, you can share them the link to Drive and you can set it so they can only listen to it. They can't edit it or download or whatever, so that they can listen to it through Drive and then just give you their feedback on it.
Yep.
Or they can give you comments directly through it. So there's just a bunch of things you can use that really more so than just storage.
Yeah.
And even like if you have a bunch of assets from Canva that you're going to be posting throughout the week, and maybe you want to hold on to a couple of them so that you can post them later. Like, oh, I made this for my 1 million plays, and I'm not going to get there probably for like another 6 months, but I still made it because I made the 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Now I'm at 1 million. You can upload it, save it for later. If you have like band posters, you can create a folder and contact other bands that you're performing with and say, hey, I'm creating a band poster for the show that we're all doing. Please send me your promo images, and I can put it into this poster template, show them the template with stock photos. They can upload their photos directly to the Drive, and you can import them to Canva, put their photos in, and most bands will be like, oh shit, that's awesome. You made a poster for this event for us. And then they can all share it on their social medias, and that puts you in the highlight because now you're all in their post and you reach their audience. So these all kind of go together and can be used in tandem to create really good, valuable content. Like ChatGPT, you can do for like text. Like, how do I write an energetic, engaging 2 sentences about an upcoming show? These are the kinds of acts, and try to convinces people to want to show up. And it'll spit some pretty decent copy you can tweak to get people interested and engaged that you can put on your poster. Or, hey, write a thank you text to all the fans that engage, and it makes it easy to post something out there, and you can just tweak it, make it authentic. But that all goes together, and it can all be transferred, stored, shared inside of Drive or Dropbox. Now, there's one more piece of software that we have written today. There's so much out there.
There's a lot, and I'm sure we're forgetting some right now. Yeah.
So I said earlier, if there's anything you use that is indispensable to you, please let us know, and we'll either talk about it in a future episode where we do this again, or dive into it more and learn about it ourselves, because I'd love to learn more things that can be very helpful. But the last thing we're going to talk about today is OBS.
OBS is awesome, dude.
So awesome.
That's how we're actually recording this episode right now. We record all of our visual aids through OBS. It's so easy to use and it's free, and they update it fairly frequently too. So it is always up to date with the latest like Windows operating software or operating systems and Mac operating systems. I even think they have Linux too for you Linux users. So it's great. It's exactly how it sounds. It's called Open Broadcast Software, and you can do exactly that. You can record, you can stream, you can record audio into it, multi-track audio, a little bit of a trick to it, a little bit more advanced feature, but you can set it up for that. And
you can run VST plugins through it. You can do virtual cameras. And the thing is, it's open source. So there are tons of plugins you can implement to make it even more versatile and easier to do. Like there's plugins where you can export audio through it. So you can process your audio through your VSTs and OBS, match it up with the video, and then put it into Zoom. So, or any sort of broadcasting software like Twitch. So if you're doing a live concert, you can still edit each individual track, or get like a virtual mixer to run from your DAW. So if you're doing anything live, like Ableton Live or whatnot, then you can process it through OBS so that everything is lined up. It's processed together, put together and output. So it makes it easy to live stream your concerts or your band practices. If it's like a Patreon thing that you do, Patreon's another service you could look into. To get fans to invest. It just keeps going down, but it's a way to kind of bring things together, and it just makes it really easy to get video content out there for live streaming or just recorded, and make sure you can process good audio through it. It's a very, very versatile thing. Something that you use it for, you just started using it for, is running your cameras in the studio through it and recording to OBS. And it's a behind the scenes sort of video that the artists you record can then take and use in their social media posts, so that, they have some studio content that is really interesting to some fans.
Absolutely. And it just creates more value on the back end for, the musicians that I'm able to work with. So, cause they're able to post like some of the videos from the process itself. And that lets people actually like work in the studio instead of having to like take out their phone, worry about getting a video, then deleting that take, doing another video. Why not just record the whole damn thing? And then I'll just send it to you at the end, and then you can take it and post it. It just adds that much value. And it's just a great piece of software. It does it well. And you can change all those features in there too, like with your recording quality. So if your computer isn't as good, you can run it at a little bit less of a quality and have it still work just fine. So it's very fluid in how it works, and sure, it has its quirks like all these pieces of software do, but it's free. You can't beat it.
And it's ever growing.
It's ever growing.
And that's what a lot of these software for services do. That's very exciting, is that they work really good now. And hopefully, because that's the one good thing about software as a service, is that they constantly have revenue that you're hoping they're reinvesting into the product, and it's just growing so they can stay on top of the competition. So what you're getting now is great. We recommend all these things. It's very versatile, and who knows what they'll do next year.
I can't wait to see.
So those are pretty much all the softwares that we've thought of for this episode. A lot of things that we think could be really, really beneficial towards you, your music career, your music practice, getting content created, getting it out there, easily organizing everything together, good ways to store it, good ways to create new copy, easy ways to create a website where you can host all of this stuff, and then just ways you can, easily record video, audio, pictures that can broadcast it to your fans, get it out there, and just make life easier. It can sound a little overwhelming because there is a lot of software out there, but most of these are pretty simple to learn the basics of. All of them have tutorials, tons of tutorials online. So if any of them give you trouble, you can look it up very briefly, and it'll give you a quick rundown to at least become proficient. And then, as I said, specifically towards Canva, in the show notes, I've got a link to a document that'll list a bunch of different templates you can download. All of them are pro asset free. They're all free assets on Canva. So all you got to do is download them, import your own images, put them up top, change the colors, and then they're yours. Easy to post for all sorts of things like album release, single release, upcoming shows, anniversaries for different things. Anything you can think of, I'll be putting out there. So that's kind of what we got going on. Those are our thoughts.
Absolutely, man. I know it was a little bit short of an episode, and we didn't really dive in all that much to each of these specific things. So we do plan on doing, like Sean said, like some of these more in the future, maybe once every 6 months just to update you on what kind of software we're using. If we find anything cool, maybe we'll try to insert it into another episode that has nothing to do with any of this stuff. Yeah, we're just constantly trying to learn and keep everybody up to date with what the latest stuff is. And the easiest stuff to use is the most efficient too, because like Sean said, there are a lot of solutions out there. And yeah, I don't think you need all those solutions. You just need the solution that's best for you. And these are all solutions to any issues that you might be having. So definitely check them out. They're not too expensive. Even if you do give it a 1 month trial on like a paid term, just learn how to use it and see if you can grow yourself and grow your business a little bit more with these guys.
That being said, thanks for dining in with us. From our kitchen to yours, time to get cooking.
Let's eat.